Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Red Crimson 102. Today I've got quite a few news that I like to share with you guys, and I'm not going to waste any time, so let's get right into it. First of all, Saints Row. The new Saints Row came out on Tuesday. I've heard a lot of negative backlash about the game. People are saying that the game feels like it's an early 2000 game, a game from the 360 era, so I don't know if that's good or bad according to you. When they first introduced the game, I didn't like how it looked. The new characters looked lame, they looked like trash, they looked like garbage. I did not like the direction they took the game. And seems like they actually took a step back, to be honest with you, from the previous games. All Saints Row games were awesome. A lot of people like the second game and the third game. I think the first game and the fourth game were the best. Third one was good. But honestly, I'll just go with the fact that all Saints Row games were phenomenal. Saints Row was always a better game than GTA. Minus the online. If they could have get the online to be on par with GTA, then it'll definitely stomp GTA into the ground. But this new game, I don't know if they have online. A lot of people do not like the game. They're saying do not buy, wait for a sale. And it is what it is, guys. I bought the notorious edition of Saints Row, which is $90. Comes with all types of goodies, steel book. It comes with the online pass and 4 postcards of the characters and an art book. So I don't know, I haven't opened it yet, so maybe I may even return the game, but we'll see. I'm a fan, so you know I support the game regardless, and I guess that's what Volition and Deep Silver, which are the creators of Saints Row, were banking on. But okay, moving on here, let's talk about the whole Xbox. Phil Spencer said exclusives will be no more. Later on in the future, it's going to be less and less exclusive. Now let's touch on this topic, guys, for a quick second. First of all, Microsoft has been losing the console war since 2013, beginning with the Xbox One. The first Xbox, the original Xbox that came out in the early 2001, was a great system. It was loved by everybody, but there were the newcomers on the block, the new kids on the block, and they had something to prove. So with that being said, you know, the 22 worldwide sales they had with the original Xbox, which was very, very disappointing in the wake of PS2, 100 and I believe 55 million sold, is excusable because they were the newcomers, the new kids on the block, and they learned from their mistake and they came out with the 360, and the rest is history. 360 was Microsoft's best run, where I believe they did everything right with that console. They had exclusive games, tons of exclusive games from third-party publishers themselves and the indie scene. But some of those games, a lot of those games actually got released to the PS3. I think that's where Xbox made their mistake with the 360, and halfway through the generation, towards the end rather, they got real lazy and they stopped making exclusive games. That's why Sony was able to bypass the 360 sales on a worldwide scale by releasing games like The Last of Us and, you know, other few games. Okay, so enter the Xbox One. Microsoft Phil Spencer says exclusive wall, he's going to tear it down. Exclusives are holding consoles back from growing. Exclusives are holding the industry, the gaming industry, for moving forward. That's nonsense. And I'm surprised nobody hasn't touched on this topic, guys, but let's be honest here. Xbox been losing since the Xbox One, and they never recovered. They came out with several systems: the Xbox One, Xbox One S, Xbox One X, so confusing. Now the Series S and the Series X. That's 5 consoles, and none of them managed to sell anything. And the reason being, lack of exclusive games, and the whole DRM situation actually came back. And for those of you guys that are not familiar with DRM, digital rights management, You know, these guys are telling you when you can play your games and when you cannot play those games. So that's why people have a problem with some games on the Xbox where you can't play the game offline. And see, that's the thing I'm talking about, guys. The digital future is nonsense. These companies are creating a facade, especially more so Microsoft, that digital is the future, download is the future. They're trying to get you off consoles. Reason why Microsoft is trying to change the way that we all game because they're losing. That's all it is. They want to get rid of consoles because they know they can't see Nintendo and Sony when it comes to software sales and hardware sales. So they're trying to change the game. And I'm surprised people haven't been touching on this topic. People haven't realized this. But Microsoft are sore losers. They want to change the whole game industry just because they're losing, which kind of isn't fair. So I'm not buying into all that. And a lot of people aren't buying into it either. Now they don't want to report on console numbers because they know they're not selling. They're trying to report on Game Pass numbers, which don't mean shit to me or anybody else because even Nintendo Online has more subscribers than Game Pass, and Nintendo has a worse online, but Nintendo has those gems, and hey, Nintendo is Nintendo, right? So console exclusive is what makes each console unique and separated from each other. Now you have the fanboys, and a fanboy is somebody who is a diehard fan of a certain console or piece of plastic, where they want all their games and everything should revolve around their system. So they don't want to go out and spend the money to have a brand new, a different experience with another console, with a game they see on the other side of the fence they may like. That's on their console. So they bash that console, say that console is garbage. They don't like that console, and their console is the best. So that's a fanboy. I'm not a fanboy. I'm a fan of video games, but no matter what, you can have all the systems. I have all the systems. I have every single system. I have a PC. I have everything. I'm a hardcore gamer. I game on anything with a screen. But at the end of the day, no matter how many systems you have, everybody has their favorite whore. Or should I say horse? Let's keep it clean. But everybody has their favorite horse. You can go into the stable, see a lot of beautiful horses, but you know what? I like this horse the best out of all of them. Even though all horses look beautiful, they're all good, they're all runners, but I like that particular horse. Meaning, for me, example, Nintendo's my favorite. As you can see by the shirt, Nintendo's my favorite out of all three companies. All three companies are dope. They're cool. They bring something unique and nice to the table, but Nintendo's my favorite. But at the same time, I'll call Nintendo out just as much as I'll call out Sony or Xbox because Nintendo isn't perfect. But back to the situation, the topic at hand. Microsoft is trying to change the rules of the game because they are losing the console war, and they have been doing so since 2013. It's funny how they say exclusives are holding consoles back, where it's quite the opposite. Depending on the games a console have, that console will sell. So if you have no games, your console will not sell, just like Microsoft. That's just how it works. But they talk about this exclusive wall, they want to tear it down. But yesterday they went out and bought Bethesda. They opened up a few studios. So and they just now bought Activision, which the deal isn't really completed yet, but it probably more than likely will go through. But you see what I'm saying? So if it's not about exclusive games, why are you buying up these companies? And see, they're setting a trap for Sony because they know they can't beat Sony. So they have the checkbook. They have that blank checkbook. They went out and bought all these companies and Activision, knowing that Call of Duty is Sony's big money maker. And if Sony doesn't have Call of Duty, which brings in a lot of the revenue, at least that's what they've been saying, but let's just say that's what it is, that kind of hurts Sony, right? So Sony, I was never a big fan of Sony. Sony are followers, they're not leaders. So whatever is trending in the video game company, whatever is trending in the video game industry, Sony will follow them. So what has kept Sony alive all this time were the exclusive games, judging back from the PS1 all the way from the PS2 to the current system, PS5 now. The exclusives is what has been keeping Sony afloat. And now it seems like they kind of want to give that up slowly, because they've put several of their games on PC already. And we all know Microsoft, is in charge of PC. And the day that Sony start putting their exclusive games on PC, I don't care if it's 2 or 3 years later down the line, when they get their first initial sales from PlayStation 5, it's not going to help them, because if I'm not really a Sony fan like that, I don't really game on Sony machines like that, but if I know Sony has God of War coming out, for example, and if they're going to put that on PC or on another platform, even if it's 2 years, I'll wait the 2 years, because I have crazy backlog and other games I can play in the meantime within those 2 years. Understand what I'm saying? So pretty much people will hold out for the 2 years just to play a Sony game on their favorite machine. And we all saw what happened to Xbox, right? Game Pass is everywhere. Xbox games are everywhere. The Nintendo Switch, PC everywhere. Even there's an Xbox app on the TV, so there's no incentive to buy a console anymore. So that's why nobody will buy an Xbox console, because why buy Xbox consoles where they have no exclusive games to make their system stand out that's worthy of a purchase, and you can play their games everywhere else. It makes perfect sense. That's why they're not selling. Sony and Nintendo, on the other hand, move units because of the games they have. I don't understand why Microsoft can't understand it. With all the money in the world that they have, they can't create studios and bring in talent to make exclusive games, a better Gears of War, a better Uncharted game, a better God. I mean, come on, guys. Like, Microsoft is that pathetic. And, I've been saying this for a while. Microsoft is actually the cancers of gaming. They are the cancer of gaming. They're killing gaming. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a secondary gaming crash. So they're trying to get people to get off consoles in favor of their vision, the cloud vision, which is crap anyway. Game Pass, try playing Game Pass on your cell phone or a tablet or a TV. The lag and it's just unbearable. The resolution is terrible. It just doesn't work. We're so far from having streamlined cloud games like how we would game on native console. The cloud gaming will never be as streamlined and precise as console gaming, at least for now. Maybe in a way future, but by then I'll probably be dead or too old to care. So I don't see Microsoft vision. A lot of people don't. That's why Game Pass has low subscribers, and the Xbox brand isn't really doing too well. So, but Sony is buying into what Microsoft is doing. So Sony's putting their game slowly on PC. I don't care if they make their own separate launcher for PC. By them putting their games on PC, another platform, the PlayStation brand value depreciates, and so will their sales once people start finding out that, hey, I can play Sony games on the PC or whatever the case may be. I mean, only time will tell, guys, but to me, I think that's a bad idea. I don't care if it's games that didn't sell too well on the consoles. And before people say Sony is doing this, put their games on PC to get more revenue, so they're selling 4 million copies, 10 million copies, they want to sell 30 million, 50 million. Okay, Nintendo games sell that much by themselves on their own console, so what's the excuse? How much money are you really trying to make? That's just a scapegoat, because they're afraid of Microsoft. They're afraid that Microsoft, this deal goes through Activision, they own Call of Duty, and in the future, once the contracts are up, they don't have to make Call of Duty for Sony's machine anymore, and Sony feels that they'll lose out, and they already said they can't challenge Call of Duty, which is a lie. So I think PlayStation is putting their game, pretty much they're playing nicely with Microsoft and PC, hoping that Microsoft will quote unquote say, you know what, okay, Sony is playing ball with us. They have the what do you call it? You can play online together with Xbox and PlayStation. Crossplay. That's the word I was looking for. They have crossplay, and they're putting some of their games on PC. Okay, they're playing ball. They're playing nice. They're playing into a track, really. So okay, since they're playing ball, we'll go ahead and let them keep Call of Duty, because we're still gonna get money off of a bigger chunk off of it anyway. So either way, it's a win-win for Microsoft. If I was Sony, all the studios they have, get them to make a better Call of Duty game. I think Killzone 3 was a way better game than Call of Duty. So they can take that franchise and make something out of it, or just make a whole different franchise. They got SOCOM, they can do so many things right now. The Sony's acting like they're scared of Microsoft and they can't do better. Well, it sucks to be them, and it sucks to be Sony fans. So, I'm not buying into this whole, streaming is the future, digital games is the future, and no console future. Consoles is what started everything. It would end with consoles. I don't care what anybody say, and I don't care what these new generation kids say, talking about digital is better. Actually, no, it's not. It's convenient, but I mean, we had consoles for years. We've been swapping out discs for years. So all of a sudden, it's a problem now. You're too lazy to get up and change a disc that's in your platform. And digital takes up less space. Okay, you have to understand. It was never about convenience. It's always about money. So right now, as we speak, once everything finally goes digital, and these corporations have control over the games we play, when to download them, how to download them, when to play them. And once we find out we can't play our favorite games offline because due to licenses being up, and and the internet don't work one day, or the servers are down one day, you just flat out can't play your games offline due to DRM. Watch how everybody complain and will look back and say, you know what, we had it good when we had the consoles and we had the disc where we can pop the disc in, pop the disc out whenever we want to swap games. We wouldn't have to worry about the internet connection. So I just wish people were not. I wish people weren't stupid and they could see beyond what these companies are really trying to do. It's about money. It's not about convenience. Digital is cool, but digital is not the way. Having a physical console and a physical disc will always be better because the resale value is a lot higher. You can play those games whenever you want. When it's out of date and the licenses are up, you still have those games you can play on your console. But once the licenses are up with digital games, that's it. That game could be pulled from the server and that game will be gone forever. I'm not like some of these YouTube channels who act like everything is all honky-dory, everything is all good, embracing that digital future, whereas it's really nonsense because when you can't play your games offline, when you can't play your games offline anymore, then what? You took your hard-earned money, you bought all these games, you can't play it offline. Due to companies being greedy, the servers are down, internet connection is not great, and even if it is great, you fire up your system, you can't play your games. I have an Xbox One S and a Series X sitting over there, and I tried playing my games offline, and a lot of those games don't work, and you have to keep on checking in on the internet to make the games work. Some games, at least some, a very small few games work offline just for a little bit. You turn it off, you come back, you try to fire the game up again, it won't work. You have to do an online check. So what got Microsoft hemmed up, what screwed them in the beginning at the E3 2013, it came right back, and Sony's playing into that trap. And I wish games would just stay the way how they were, where we have the console, you download the game, it just works, online or offline. And so that's where I stand with this whole DRM digital future. It's nonsense. And yeah, Sony, don't fall into Microsoft trap by putting your games. Don't let them trick you for putting your games on PC. Because at the end of the day, Microsoft don't really care. They're trying to get a monopoly on games. They're trying to buy their way into the gaming industry, and it's not really working. Xbox sucks. Xbox has always been a dime brand since 2013. Nobody cares about Xbox. When you sell less than half of a PS4 sold, that's bad. So the Xbox is somewhere around 50 to 51 million. That's an estimate, meaning they probably didn't even sell not even 50 million. If you only sold 50 million consoles since 2013 with the Xbox One and One S, and included a One X, that's pretty bad. Microsoft is like a new Sega to me. Microsoft should just, since they have a hard on getting rid of consoles and having all this digital stream, this is what they should do. Microsoft, if you're listening, do not make any more Xbox consoles. Just just loan your Xbox Live service to Nintendo and PlayStation. The Xbox Live service is the best online service. I can definitely admit that. And just make third-party games. Just be a third-party company. Put Gears of War, Halo on every single platform, and don't even so you don't have to worry about losing out anymore. Just be a third-party company and spread your games out like Sega and get your revenue there. But start trying to deceive people that a console-less future is the way to go. A digital, always online future is the way to go, because it's not. People don't really see your vision. There's a very small few people out there. And I know Sony sells a lot of digital games, which is cool. It makes sense. Digital games are cheaper, so it makes sense for you to buy a game that's on sale for $20, usually $60, $70, in the comfort of your home, versus going to the store ordering the game. And physically, at least, like me personally, I do the same thing. I mean, I support both. I still love physical better all day, but I support both. I usually get the digital, get the physical, or physical, or digital. If I get the physical, then I won't bother to get the digital. It all depends. But either way, I double dip. So when they pull those games off the servers, at least I still got the game, the cartridge, or the disc to play. Yeah, so that's all I have to say as far as the whole, Xbox exclusives, Sony exclusive going over to PC and whatnot. And also, guys, before moving on here, before I wrap the whole conversation up about exclusives, once everything finally goes all digital, Nintendo's going to be the only one standing with a powerful console still making physical media. And Sony and Microsoft's going to look back and say, oh, wow, Nintendo's killing it in the console business, still with physical games. And watch how everybody flock back to consoles. It's funny when I think about it. I'm glad Nintendo's dragging their feet and sticking to their guns. Nintendo's the only company with balls. They're holding their balls right now and saying, hey, you know what, Sony, you want to go ahead and hang yourself by putting your games on the competition's platform? Go ahead, but we're not doing that. Our IPs are valuable, and we make tons of money. The 50 million copies of games you want to sell, we sell it with Animal Crossing. Zelda's up there at almost 30 million. Mario Kart is almost up there at 50 million. You know how it goes. Nintendo's the smartest one out of everybody. They're not perfect, but they're the smartest one. At least they're holding on to their guns. Now, moving along here. Speaking about the Nintendo Switch, we have this company called Denuvo. It's a DRM company. I heard they want to incorporate DRM technology into third-party games. Now, Nintendo themselves, from what I've been hearing, has nothing to do with it, so their games aren't going to have that. But the thing is, I play a lot of third-party games on my Nintendo Switch. I don't only buy Nintendo platforms to play Nintendo games. I also like a lot of third-party games. So if they start to put this Denuvo DRM technology into third-party games on the Switch, I don't think I'll be buying any more games for the Switch. And I have a Steam Deck now. The Steam Deck hasn't replaced my Switch, but I have been showing it a lot more love because it's new. But going forward, it just makes more sense to get your games on the Steam Deck because they run better and they look better. And Nintendo needs to hurry up and come out with a more powerful Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever they want to call it. Because the Steam Deck is doing pretty good right now. It's picking up steam. Still nowhere as close to the Nintendo Switch sales and buzz, but hey, you give it enough time, man, it'll take off. But let me explain to you guys what Denuvo is. So it's a DRM technology. It also, what it does, it stops people from playing third-party games on emulators, pretty much. So all the games on the Switch by third-party developers that you want to, dump the games to play on an emulator on your Steam Deck or PC, the Denuvo technology is supposed to block that. And there are always workarounds. People are gonna, if they do implement it, that thing will be cracked in like a day or at least a week there's always a workaround. So it's kind of pointless. This whole DRM situation has gotten way out of hand. This is taking the fun out of video games. And I think I'm just getting too old to game anyway. The games aren't as The games nowadays aren't as impressive, creative, and fun as they used to be. Like, honestly. The last good generation of consoles we had was the PS3, Wii, and the 360 era. Everything after that was bullshit. But at least with the PS4, we were able to still play our games offline without no DRM, internet checking. But guys, that's all I have to say in the matter. That's all the news I have to report today. Whatever I talked about in this video. If you have any comments, go ahead and just drop your comments and your thoughts and let me know how you feel. I mean, you think I'm wrong? I mean, do you think Microsoft is heading in the right direction? Do you think Sony putting their exclusive games on PC and in the future they may even put more on there? You think that's a good idea or a bad idea? Is it bad business for them? I'd like to hear your thoughts and comments. Red Crimson 102. If you guys, those of you actually that are new to my channel, you already know what to do. Go ahead and like and subscribe. And for those of you guys that's already subscribed and has been supporting me, thank you. I'm a small channel. And, you know, I'm only trying to do a lot better from here on out. So, have a good one. Look forward to my next video. Red Crimson 102. I'm out of here.